You're in the mix.
SKM presents Strictly for the Music Podcast. You are now live with the #1 podcast for all upcoming artists worldwide.
It's the real deal.
Welcome back to another episode, Strictly for the Music Podcast. I'm your host, SKN. The next guest I got live and direct is a artist from Colorado. She did an audition for The Voice. She's in one band on bandlab.com. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Superstar.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on this show. It's an honor to meet with you, and we got a lot of ground to cover, so let's get right into it. Describe your music to us.
So if I had to describe it in my early stage, it was a lot like Taylor Swift, teenage, broken heart, constantly, blah, blah, blah. Once my music kind of evolved, it became more eclectic. I've done R&B, pop, country. The only two I haven't tried yet are rap and metal. The rap is because I just sound like a teddy bear going, hug me, yo, and it doesn't work. I don't have the rough voice for it. And the metal is because it would ruin the voice I have to do the screamo stuff. But I'm pretty eclectic.
That is awesome. So let me ask you this. What inspired you and what age were you when you started to do music?
I have been singing since before I can remember. I have always loved music. I did it a lot as I probably started into songwriting about 8, but before that I was just singing whatever I could remember, Once I started into songwriting, I started teaching myself guitar. And I got in with this awesome vocal coach. Her name's Patty Miner. She's from Utah, and that's kind of where I was raised. So we did a couple vocal lessons. I think I had 4 or 5, and then my family had to move. And so I had to put my career on hold. And I got into a recording studio when I was about 17, and that was in Camden, Missouri. And I got my first demo made, and it stopped there because I was too young to really know where to go with it. And so I just recently picked it back up, and so I'm doing this now because about 6 or 7 years ago, I left a abusive relationship, and the relationship left me with some PTSD, and it made me so I have this horrible fear of being judged or, around a huge group of people, like public speaking. And I showed my kids my demo CD the other day, and they were like, well, why aren't you still doing it, Mom? And I tried to explain to them that I was scared, and they kind of called me out on it. They were like, well, you always tell us to do it anyway. Why don't you? And so I went ahead and I started it up again. I'm going to say probably 4 months ago, I started writing some more. A little rusty on the guitar now, but I started writing, and I have 2 singles out currently. I have Memory Lane, and I recently released another one. It's called We Got This. And then I have multiple covers on my BandLab as well.
Okay, so let's take it back to Memory Lane. How did you create that song, and how was the rhythm? How was the creating process coming upon?
Well, we were actually living out of the back of our truck at the time. And my husband took that demo CD I mentioned to this studio. It was called Red Room. It was in Florida. And they heard my music, and they waived their mixing, the hourly fee. They just made me pay the deposit every time. And so I was able to get a lot of my music produced that way. And I did Memory Lane was my only original that I did with that studio. The rest of them were covers. And Memory Lane was written outside the recording studio while we were waiting for our tech to get there. My husband found this free beat online, and he started playing it, and he's like, listen to this beat, it's so awesome. And I just started humming, and he was like, oh my gosh, that's good. Hold on, we got to write this down. And so it was written in an hour and then recorded in another hour, and that was it.
Dope. So you have a music video with that single?
Not yet, but we are actually in the process of making it.
All right. So what was the next single that you mentioned?
It's We Got This.
We Got This, exactly. So how did that song come upon? What were you thinking at the time?
Well, my husband is actually my manager as well, so we are working together a lot, and I got rejected from The Voice. That was a little painful, but the reason why was because I chose I think it was third to last slot on the last day, and they'd already filled their quota. So I did not get in, but I figured that just gives me a year to kind of get over the stage fright a little more, work on my stage presence, release some more music, get a following, that kind of stuff.
Dope. So what were you going through whenever they selected you to audition? Were you nervous?
Oh my gosh, I was terrified. I mean, I was about to audition literally for people to judge me, and that was like my worst fear. So I had to do like these super deep breathing exercises beforehand, and I was like, I was half tempted to go take a shot or something. I was that nervous. I was really tense, but I had some vocal tips from that same coach I mentioned earlier because I got in contact with her, and I think it went pretty well. I think there was maybe one thing I messed up on in the beginning, and it was more of a volume thing than anything else. I let my nerves get to me, and I shouldn't have.
So how do you overcome that? For any artist that's up and coming and want to audition for The Voice, what would be your best advice to give to them?
Actually, the best advice I could give to them is don't focus on the actual event that you're trying to do. For example, when I was starting to audition, I started thinking more, this is not the end. If they tell me no, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go on and self-produce. Now, would this get me there faster? Of course. But if nobody else is going to do it, I will, because I want this that bad. So really just don't focus on it. Take every opportunity that life throws at you and just hit it ham.
So what made you start songwriting and singing?
A lot of actual like drama stuff going on in my life. I mean, I had like my parents get divorced, stuff like that. I started writing as young as like I think 8 or 10, something like that. So a lot of my earlier stuff was really thick and repetitive. So I kind of scrapped that project, and I started over, and I did the teenager thing where every song was like a lost love, or I can't talk to the boy I like because blah blah blah. And so we did another demo that only had, I think it was 4 songs on it. And then I moved from Utah to Missouri, so the band that I was recording with obviously couldn't come with me. So that got put on pause again, and here comes try 3. I'm hoping 3 is the lucky number.
3rd is a lucky charm. So songwriting, have you ever ghostwrite for any artists that's up and coming, or are you only sticking to your own?
I'd like to stick to my own just because I'm proud of the stuff that I do write. I work really hard on it. But Memory Lane, when I introduced it to my vocal coach that I mentioned earlier, again, she had passed it along to some of her contacts, and they had actually offered to kind of buy it. Like they were trying to feel me out for it. They were like, so do you want to keep this for you, or are you interested in selling it? Like that kind of thing. And I haven't heard back from her yet, but I told her I want to keep it mine because I'm the one that did the work on it,
That's dope. So they're trying to buy it off you and give it to another artist?
Yeah, they're kind of putting their feelers out there. They were asking me if I was interested in selling it.
Wow. That's that. What? They must like your work because, it's very hardly ever to see someone want to buy another artist's work. But hey, if you got the offer and the offer looks good, you might as well take it. Nothing but an opportunity.
Yep. I think I've got the talent portion pretty well covered. I'm really working more on the technique because I have a lot of like breathing is really hard for the long notes. You have to know just where to breathe so that it doesn't sound like you're going in your music. And so that's something I need to work on, but I'm confident I'll be getting it soon.
That's dope. So you said you had how many demos out?
I have originally recorded 3. The first one never got published or anything. It's in a CD case somewhere in my attic. The second one I actually put up on MySpace. You remember back in MySpace days? Yeah, that's how old I am. So I put the second one up on MySpace, and it was pretty well received. But then when I moved, I was unable to keep producing with that band. So that kind of got cut short.
All right. So are you thinking about redoing your first demo, or you think you're just gonna leave it at that and just start on something new?
I actually have a total of 24 songs ready right now. Some of them are recorded, some are not. And I really feel like my ability to write has evolved, so I would hate to slide backwards. I would love to release them as like just kind of a documentary kind of thing. Just here's what I did, but I don't think I'd like to actually try to pursue those ones as much because I feel like the lyrics are a lot more immature and not as poetic.
So you mentioned that you worked with a band on your second album, right? Or your second demo, my bad.
Yeah.
How was it working with a band?
Um, we had some issues. Our backup singer was dating our drummer, and we were in high school, so it kind of fell apart. But I had a drummer that was really awesome. I still stick in contact with him. His name is Hector, and he's from Utah, so I'm gonna have to tell him to listen to this. And then I had Mackenzie as a backup singer, and we had a bassist, a rhythmic, and a drum, and then I was lead vocals.
Dope. So before we go any further into this interview, can you plug in all your social media outlets, your YouTube channel, SoundCloud, Spotify, all that good stuff?
Yeah. Not sure how to do that, but I can definitely do that for you.
Yeah, just tell them where they can find you, like your username.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I thought you were saying like post it in the comments or something. I was like, no. So I have my Facebook page, which is just Superstar, and it has a picture of me like up there. It's really cool. I think it's gonna be my album cover when I get finished with it. And then my bandlab is bandlab.com/superstar_Danny Girl. And we have a Twitter as well.
Superstar Danny Girl.
And then we are working on Spotify right now. And what was the other one? Radio Chart. Yeah, that's awesome. They did a cover, or they kind of debuted my Memory Lane, and they're promoting it all over the world. It's a global thing, and I'm super excited to be sending them some more tracks.
Wow, that's amazing. So what were you going through whenever you heard about this record label spreading your music all across the world?
It was daunting. I mean, I was a little scared to get excited too fast because I was like, well, I don't know how well they're going to like it, but I've had a lot of positive feedback from that show especially, and so I am hoping to work with them in the future.
Dope. So can we expect an album coming out anytime soon?
Oh yeah, definitely. We are working on it. We have a few of them already recorded. Only the two that are posted on BandLab actually have the original like music. It's completely recorded. Most of them are finalized where they have beats, they have melodies, they have the harmony, and then just obviously the music and all that stuff. But sorry, I was like choking on my spit there. So anyway, the equipment that we have to work with right now, though, is kind of sucky. I have a laptop and a Yeti mic. And I'm like, thanks, Corona. I was just getting this off the ground.
Yep. So yeah, this pandemic is brewing a lot of upcoming shows and all that good stuff, man. So I understand.
Yeah, I feel bad for those who had concert tickets for like these dates that have been quarantined because all that crap is canceled.
Right.
Just canceled.
So yeah, let's start right there. Concert and shows. We know you did an audition. Was there any other talent shows or anything else that you had performed live in a live audience?
I have some. I went to this place here in town. It's called Thunder and Buttons. It's kind of like a karaoke bar. And I did a cover of Hallelujah, and I came back next time and they remembered my name, so I must have done okay. I've done choir in both school and religion, and then I had the band and all that stuff. Really, that's all I've gotten to so far, but we've been looking into other venues here in the Springs, and we are going to definitely be announcing whenever the first one is arranged.
So how did you get involved in the choir?
Well, like I said, I've always loved music, and so with the church thing, I was young enough. I was just like happy to be up on the stage. I'm like, hey, everybody's looking at me. This is great. With the school, it was more of it's something I love doing, so it was kind of an easy A. Not gonna lie. I actually took 3 years of that, and then when I went on to take music theory, I actually did not pass that class. I can write my music down where I know what it means, but I have yet to master the art of writing it down so other people can sight read it or even read it at all.
What is one of the biggest challenges in music theory?
Honestly, for me, I only took the one class, so it was more the note placement and the timing. The combination of the two really gave me trouble, and I wasn't getting it.
Okay, so you as an upcoming artist, would you ever consider if your fans requested to do a live performance on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live? Will any of those be anything you'd be looking forward to do?
That would be awesome. I would love to do that.
So let me ask you this. Is there any future collabs we can expect from you?
Yeah, I have 3 or 4 in the making right now. One of them has already been started. The other 3 have dates when we're going to start them. And then we're also going to be releasing a music video for the song We Got This pretty soon, but I would say wait like a month.
So you mentioned already collabing with a band on your second demo. On this last demo that you had released, was there any collabs that you top favorite?
Let's see, top favorite. We had A Day in My Shoes with the second demo. That was probably my favorite. The one that we're writing now, I think my favorite is Live Your Crescendo. It's a song kind of about it's telling you to stop comparing yourself to everybody else and start comparing yourself to you yesterday. So in a musical term, crescendo means to build on, to get the volume coming up. And so Live Your Crescendo is something that I wrote to kind of put that theory into music.
So what are your biggest influences right now?
Right now, I would have to say Demi Lovato is my favorite singer like ever, but a close second would be Carrie Underwood, Kelly Clarkson, Megan Trainor. Avril Lavigne was one that I really drew from towards my later teens, so I still have a little bit of that in there. Yeah, I think that's probably it.
If you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Demi Lovato, because she's awesome. I have a whole list of why. She is really good at using her platform to spread messages of self-worth, um, positive body imaging, stuff like that. She's really been a role model for a lot of young girls. And she's actually only born a month before me. So I kind of feel like we're compatible there because we're at the same maturity level. So as well as she's amazing with popcorn. Popcorn is when you go back and forth through a lot of notes very quickly. And she does that so well, and it is so beautiful. I would love to learn from her how to do that better.
Dope. So what was it growing up in the city where you're from, and what kind of hobbies are you interested in outside of music?
Okay. So outside of music, believe it or not, I've recently gotten into fixing cars. My husband's kind of a grease monkey, so I got bored one day and was like, "Hey, scoot over." So I went under the car with him and he started telling me what everything was, and I understand it pretty well now. As far as the city I am from, I grew up in Utah. I don't know how much you know about Utah, but it's like Mormon City. So growing up, I was not allowed to wear anything that was not at least short sleeve. Like it couldn't even be cap sleeve. I wasn't allowed to wear a tank top. I had to keep pretty much everything covered. They hated coffee. Oh my gosh, do I need coffee as an adult? So I'm glad I got the hell out of there. So because of that, they don't even like tea because it has caffeine, but they'll let their members drink soda.
Okay, so let me ask you this: how did you discover bandlab?
I discovered bandlab because my husband decided to take on the role of manager, and he he is very good at getting his foot in the door pretty much anywhere. When we were cutting the third, got me in with Red Room after just letting him hear my music, and so I felt really secure in giving him that role again, like we did so well last time. So he went out and started getting every social media outlet that he could to try to promote this, and he's really been working hard to get my sound out there.
What was the feeling when you dropped your first song on bandlab?
Well, there was excitement and then a horrific panic that rose within me and was like, take it down before anybody sees it. But I held it together, and I was surprised when people started giving me compliments on it. I remember that when I was recording, there was a couple places that I messed up, and I thought it sounded horrible because I could hear those mess ups. But to everybody else, it was just vocalization, not like my wavering or anything like that. So they seemed to like it, like really well. And because I got such good feedback from bandlab, I went ahead and started opening up to other platforms, other social medias, and that's why we are in the process of forming those. So yeah.
Dope. So, is there any artists on bandlab that you'd like to work with?
Well, we actually are fairly new to bandlab. We've only been on there, I'm going to say, like 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and so I haven't had the chance to really finish any collaborations with other artists. I have had 3 or 4 other artists that asked me to do collaborations, and we're in the process of setting those up. One of them's in the process of being made.
Okay, so hold up. You only been on bandlab for 2 or 3 weeks, and you already got an interview?
Yeah, I did.
Wow, that's amazing, man. I didn't. To be honest with you, I thought you already had been on bandlab. I didn't know it was only 2 or 3 weeks.
No, but it's been like 2 or 3 weeks.
That's amazing. So, hey, this is a good way to start off your career for real. So, let's get right into this. All right. Can we expect any collaborations with any bandlab artists or bands that's on your following or they're following you? Like, is that a possibility?
Yeah, we have. I'm gonna say probably 3, definitely 2 that will be coming out within the next few months.
All right. So, on your profile, it says that you are in one band, and I think that band is called Superstar. Can you give us a little bit of detail on how you formed the band?
Yeah, so I have some artists that I work with that are all around the country. They are amazing at what they do, and I will say a lot of the tracks that I'm actually recording are synthesized, but I mean I do my live performances live, but I want the recordings to be perfect. And so I have them synthesize a lot of them, and then they'll send me their work. And I paid for the rights to 2 songs, but the rest of them have been given to me or I wrote with my husband. And so I said band because it wasn't just me that put in the work to make all of this possible. I wanted to make sure I gave that credit to people who had earned it.
Okay. So, is there any way that you can get all your covers in one collection, all your original art in one collection, so the fans and supporters can go look at your collection right off the bat?
Absolutely. BandLab is actually the place we've been uploading first. I have covers such as Without Me by Halsey. I did Take Me to Church by Hoosier. I did 2 a.m. by Anna Nalick. Actually, that song's Breathe. I call it 2 a.m. My bad. It's the one that's like 2 a.m. and they call me because I'm still awake. You know that one?
Yep, that's dope. So, let me ask you this. What are your future goals and what are you trying to accomplish in this industry?
Well, I'm not going to cry if I don't get all the way to the top because I like my privacy and the paparazzi are very nosy. But I would like to at least get a platform big enough to spread the message that I am trying to get out there.
Okay, so I mean, starting off only like in 3 weeks into BandLab, how does it feel a little bit, and what are the pros and cons to BandLab?
Well, the pros is that it really helps you to mix the music. I actually did all the mixing myself on We Got This, so be nice with your criticism. but it was my first time ever trying to mix, and I did it on my laptop at home. So I really like the bandlab application, and it also is super easy to upload all your music. I tried to do it through Facebook, and it was a lot more complicated. So I like just posting my links on my Facebook page and then directing them to bandlab because it is such an it's a tool that has such a variety.
Absolutely. So from here on out, how is your music going to evolve?
I hope to work on the technique side of it. And I mean, lyrically, I feel like I am doing pretty well. Of course, you can always improve. I mean, there's always somebody better than you. You can always improve on what you have. So, that being said, I think that the thing I really need to focus on is promotion and just getting my message out there, and then the technique that we talked about with the breathing exercises and that kind of stuff, because it helps me to hold notes longer. Higher notes take a different amount of breath than the low notes do. So it really helps to be able to hit those diva notes, if you know what I mean, the big, amazing shocker notes.
Absolutely. So you have any special shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, definitely. Hector, who is in Utah, his last name is Escarzaga. He did amazing with all of the mixing and the synthesizing for the second demo. Um, Prime was the stage name of the gentleman who was my sound tech back in Florida when we started cutting the third one. My husband, of course, because he's been my biggest supporter and he kind of had to kick my ass to get me out there, but I came out of there anyway. So without him, I really wouldn't be there because I kind of closet writing and closet singing, if you know what I mean.
What would be the best advice you could give to any upcoming artist that's in your local area?
Do not wait for opportunity to find you because it will take a lot longer to come around than if you go looking for it. And understand that it's not make or break. It's not just one opportunity. If they say no, boohoo, go cry, whatever. It's not like that. You have to have a thicker skin to take the criticism that is being aimed at you. And I realize this sounds a little hypocritical because I just told you my worst fear is people judging me. I still believe what I said, but I'm still afraid.
Okay, so you got any final words you want to say?
Just keep going, you guys. It really does get easier, but you're gonna have to start from the bottom and live your crescendo.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Superstar in the building. This is Strictly for the Music podcast, and we're gone.